All right, so this lesson 4.2, slope of a line. I know we've been really dealing with slope of a line. Tell me what the equation for slope of a line is. Or slope-intercept form. Yell it.
Is the value of the ratio of the change in y?
No, I want to know the equation.
Y equals mx plus
Correct.
b.
That we've been doing for like a week. Y equals mx plus b. So today we're going to go over what I've discussed with you, but a little more in detail, talking about slope specifically. So we're really just talking about m in that equation, y equals mx plus b. You've heard me talk about rise over run, correct?
Yeah.
This is going to give you the detailed version of that. So, Eva, go ahead and tell me the definition of a slope.
The m of a line is the value of the ratio of the change in y.
Correct. So the m is how much the line changes vertically on the y-line. Okay, somebody tell me what the definition of rise is, since they have it as a vocab word. Is Evo the only one reading and writing? The rise is the change in x. No, the rise is the change in y. And the run is the... What's the run? The change in x. Very good. Do you need another minute or two to copy all that down real quick? It's a lot. So you're writing everything you see on this page. Make sure you have the m over here with the rise over the run, and then the chart. I will pause the video while you do that. Okay, so we've talked about slope, and you've heard me say rise over run, and you've heard me talk about it being the change in y over the change in x. The change in y over the change in x can be represented by this equation you see right here, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That is also something you guys need to probably memorize. You will see this again in high school. So when we're talking about y2 and y1, all that's talking about is two different points on the graph, or on the line. If you guys look up here real quick, you can see they've labeled. This is their 1 point, this is their 2. So this is point 1, point 2. So they labeled this coordinate x and y 1, x and y 2. So the change from this point to this point is the difference with taking this point and subtracting this y, taking this x and subtracting this x, which is represented by this equation over here. Okay? So if those were real points, we would take y2 over here and subtract y1, and we would take x2 and subtract x1, and then you would be left over with a fraction, right? You might have 3 over 2 or whatever that difference is. That would be your slope. Could also be like 6 over 1, which would just simplify to 6 as your slope. Does that make sense? Okay, the only problem I have with this graph is I prefer you guys do the rise first before you do the run. So instead of doing the blue first, you would do the red first. So I wish they would draw it to where we had rise over run like this. Okay, because I always recommend you do the y stuff first, so you figure out how much we went up and then how much we went over. For a while, we've just been counting it, right? 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3, 4 over. Now you're going to do the math. Okay? So, and is this a positive or negative slope? Positive. It's rising from left to right. If it were coming down from left to right, it would be a negative slope. It's all good. All right, so let's look at example 1. So you're going to write this in your journals. All we're doing for these two is describing the slope of the line and then finding what the slope actually is. So let's look at A. Is this rising from left to right or falling from left to right? So this would be a positive or negative slope? Positive slope. So A is a positive slope. You can just say that in your journal. It's positive. All right, and then we're going to, you could count from the first point to the second point to find the rise over run, but we're going to do the math. And I recommend when you do rise over run, back up here, you make your y1 the lower number, so the first one in this case, and your y2 the higher number. If this were a negative slope, then I would pick the higher number up here as my y2 and the lower number y1. Because you want the bigger number to be on top or be first to do the subtraction easily. You can do it the other way, it'll still work. So if you do it the other way, it's not going to be wrong. It's easier to make mistakes because often you'll have like a subtract a negative number, which technically makes it addition. So, all right. So I'm going to do this instead of the way they did it. I'm going to do it my way because I think it's simpler. All right. So we're going to look at these 2 points. I have the lower point is -3, -1, and the higher point is 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to assign y1 and x1 and y2 and x2 to each of these points. So I'm going to make this my first point. So this is x or y? Which one is this? The -3. So this is x1, y1. So this would be x2, y2. Be writing this in your journals. I want it really step by step for you guys, so that way when you do it, it's easy. I need to make sure that this is recording the screen here. Okay, so now we're going to set up our equation. So m equals, what's our equation?
Y equals mx.
No, just the slope. M equals
Y
Rise over run.
which is y?
1 over x2 minus x1.
Very good. So that's my equation for just slope. Okay, we're not dealing with the whole line right now. We're just dealing with m. All right, so now that I have my equation, let's plug in the points that I've labeled. So I'm starting with the 2's, right? y2. So my y2 is 4 minus, what's my y1? -1. Now I already have a minus sign, so my -1 is going to have to be in parentheses because you can't just put a minus without separating them. Okay, over, what's my x2?
-3.
+3. And and then minus -3. So again, in parentheses. All right, now, when you see a negative like that, what does that change that to?
Addition.
Both of those become plus. Right? So what is 4 plus 1?
5.
And what is 3 plus 3? So my slope is 5 over 6. And that's all they're asking for. Define it, which was positive, and then, describe it, which was positive, and then find the slope, which was 5 over 6. If I click through, you'll see they got the same answer, even though it looks harder, the way they did it. Well, they counted. They didn't even do the math. So they counted the run, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, put it on the bottom, and then counted up to 5, put it on top. But they're going to want you to do the math anyway, so. Questions? What questions do you have? None? We're okay? Everybody done writing? So I can go to the next one? All right, we're going to make this big again. Okay, so let's look at the second one, B. Is this slope falling from left to right or rising? Falling. So what kind of slope is it? It is a negative slope. Okay, so now we're going to set this one up. You could count it, but I want you guys to get used to doing this part. All right, so we're going to assign these as y1, y2, and x1, x2. Which point do I want to be which one? So which point do I want to be, the 1s or the 2s? Does it matter? It doesn't matter. But which one, when I do subtraction, might be a little easier?
2.
I'd probably make this my 2's and this my 1's. So this would be x2, y2, x1, y1. And again, what's my equation for a slope?
Equals y. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
Yep, it's in your journals. Should be in your journals. You need to use it again and again. So now let's set this up. What is my y2?
Plus -2.
-2 minus, what's my negative? My y1?
1.
Okay, what's my x2?
-1. Oh, 1 I meant 1.
And then minus, what's my x1?
-1.
So I gotta put that one in parentheses. So again, what's this gonna do?
Plus.
Make it a plus when you see the little Asian man. -2 minus 1 is?
-3.
Goes further negative to -3. 1 plus 1 is? So what is my slope?
M equals -0.
-3 over 2, which makes sense because what kind of slope was this?
Negative.
It was a negative slope, so you needed to have a negative answer here. Any questions? I know Evo's got it because he's participating. How do the rest of y'all feel? Good? Awesome. Let's see, they got the same answer. Oh, they did it the way I did it that time, finally. Yay. All right. I'm sure you are doing try-its number 1 and 2, so go. Okay, here's example 2. Put this in your journals. All right. So just looking at A, tell me the slope of this line. A. Right, what's the slope? There is no slope. Well, it's 0.
Oh, you're right. It is.
It's a flat line. But if we were to do the math, what would you get? So let's write it. There's my x1 and y1, my x2, y2. Let's set this up. Write it in your journal. Y2 is 5, so you're going to say 5 minus what?
5 minus 6.
5. 5 minus 5, because they're both 5s. Okay, and then x2 on the bottom is 6 minus what?
1.
-1. 6 minus a -1. So 5 minus 5 is?
0.
0. 6. Julie, 6 what?
6
Is? 7. Can you divide 0 by 7?
No.
No, it's just 0, which means it's a horizontal line or the slope is 0. I know. So sometimes you're not going to be given the graph. You're just going to be given the coordinates. When you notice that the y's are the same number, that's how you know there's no slope.
Oh.
So it's just 2 numbers on the same.
In the same position on the coordinates, that's not a slope. But it's on the y's. Okay? All right, let's look at the second one. We have a vertical line. Okay? So let's take 2 points. Again, they chose the higher point as their 2's, which I recommend. So what is my y2?
The y2 is 6.
Okay. What is my y1?
2. And 4.
And then 4 minus 4 on the bottom. What is 6 minus 2?
4.
And what is 4 minus 4?
0.
Can you have 0 as a divisor?
No.
No, it's undefined. So the slope in this case is undefined. You can't say 0.
Whoa.
So if the 0's on top, then your slope is 0. If the 0's on the bottom, you say undefined.
I just.
Math nerds make a joke saying if you divide by 0, you're going to get a black hole.
It's going to be on the channel.
I'm sure it'll give you an option to say undefined.
Whoa.
All right, any questions on that? Everybody got it written down?
Yes, ma'am. Wait. Yes. That's not true.
Good.
Oh,
So on here, you don't have to write all of these words whenever you're doing it on your paper. You can literally say either slope equals undefined or M equals undefined. I would accept either one of those. Did you hear me, Caleb?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll see.
I did. I hear everything.
Excellent. All right, so now you're doing triads 3 and 4. And, oh, real quick. So this is the summary I do want you to draw in your journals after you've done your triads. Just shows you what a positive slope looks like, a negative slope, a slope of 0, which is what kind of line is this? Horizontal, undefined slope, which is what kind of line? Vertical. So put this somewhere in your journal that's very easy to find. Okay? But you can do your triads first and then stop at the key idea once you get to that. All right, so we're going to do example 3. Oh, I need to talk about the key idea. So, parallel lines and slopes. The biggest takeaway you need to look at here is I have 2 lines that appear parallel, right? They look like, you guys remember what parallel lines are?
Yeah.
They're going at the same angle, they will never cross. Okay? When you have the equation of a line, which is what?
1/2 x plus 3.
No, not this one. What's,
No,
what's,
y equals
MX.
thank you. Mx plus b. So this is y equals mx plus b, correct?
Yes.
So when you have the equation of a line, if they're parallel lines, they have identical slopes. Look at their slopes. And different y-intercepts.
Whoa.
So this is going to start at positive 3. This one started at negative 1, but their slopes are identical. So mathematically, I don't even have to have the graph. I know those are parallel lines because of the equations. Hint, hint. That's probably what you're going to do in your assignment. Okay? If I have 2 lines written mathematically and they have the same slope and the same y-intercept, what kind of line are they?
Parallel.
Nope. They have the same y-intercept.
Oh.
They're identical. They have the line on top of a line.
I was thinking it was something else.
It was just kind of a trick question. All right, so let's look at this example. You do not have to graph all these, but I want you to look at them. First glance, do these lines appear parallel? Yeah, just looking at them, you're like, oh, those are parallel. However, one of them is not parallel to the other 2. So we're going to solve all 3 lines to find what tells me whether they're parallel or not. What is it? What are we going to look for? Not identical. What part of the linear equation do I need to look at? The what? No, it's the slope, guys. The slopes are what make parallel lines identical, right? The B's are all different because the lines here, the B's are all different. We know that. But I need to know whether the slopes are the same. So we're going to solve for the slopes on all of these. So you have your slope equation. Just write it once. You don't have to write it 3 times. And let's do the blue line first. All right, which one do we want to be y2 and x2? The bottom one or the top one? I preferred the top one, but does whichever one you want. They picked different. All right, so you're going to see how it works the other way. So they pick the bottom one as their y2 and the top one as their y1. So let's write it. The y is -2 minus a what?
Minus 2.
2. And then my x value is what? -4 minus a -3. Somebody didn't shut my door.
Evil.
We have a few minutes. All right, what's -2 minus 2?
-4.
And -4 minus a -3. Because that becomes -4 plus 3. So -1. If I have a negative divided by a negative, what do I have? Positive 4. Because 4 over 1 is just 4. So the slope of the blue line is 4. So now let's check the red line. Again, they did the opposite of what I would do, but that's fine. The math will still work. So we have x2, y2 on the bottom and x1, y1 on top. So let's write our equation. -2 minus what? 3 over
0.
minus
Minus
1. Very good.
Good job.
What is -2 minus 3?
-5.
Goes further negative to -5. What is 0 minus 1? Bless you.
-1.
-1. I have a negative divided by a negative, so I have a
Positive.
positive what?
5.
So right now, the blue and the red line, do they have the same slope?
No.
They do not. However, when you just glanced at them, those are the two you thought were parallel, didn't you? That's why it's important to do the algebra. All right, green line. Let's set it up. What's my first number? -3 minus 1. Very good. And 3 minus 4. What is -3 minus 1? Over? Negative divided by a negative is a? +4. He skips. He wants to say the answer before he hears my question. All right, so does that slope match another slope?
Yes.
Which two lines are parallel?
Blue and green.
The blue line and the green line. Any questions on that?
I think I have it under covered.
All right, does everybody have that?
Yes.
I'll go back. I need to do the last example real quick. Tell me when you have this written, Lexi. Do you have all that written?
Wait, this is example 3, right?
Yes, the next one will be example 3. All right, so the last one is example 3.
Wait, what? Example 4.
I mean 4. Sorry, you confused me.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. All right, and we're using a real life word problem. Surprise. The table, sometimes they're going to give it to you in a table, shows the distance in y, number of miles, of a space probe from a comet X number of minutes after it begins its approach. The points in the table lie on a line. Find and interpret the slope of the line. Okay, when you're looking at a table, I'm going to draw because it'll be easier to understand. So if I have this table, my X and Y table, what are each of these considered?
Pairs.
That's a good guess. You're right there. I'm looking for a different word though. What would this be considered?
Parallel.
Huh? Yeah, it's not a pair.
Parallel.
Yes, those are coordinates.
Oh.
So if I'm looking for 2 points on a line to create my slope, could I pick any set of these points? Yes. I could pick, this is an X and Y, this is an X and Y, this is an X and Y, this is an X and Y. Any 2 points will work for the math. So pick 2.
7, 4.
7, 4, and 1, 8. So Caleb chose 2 coordinates off this line. Now can we find the slope? Yeah. Which one do you want to be 2s and 1s?
1, 8. Oh,
So x2, y2. I knew what you meant.
Wait.
So we're going to go 8 minus what?
4.
Over?
1 minus 7.
What's what? 8 minus 4 is?
4.
1 minus 7 is?
-6.
Can I reduce 4 over 6?
Yeah.
Divide both by 2, what do you get?
2 and -3.
2 over 3. If it has a negative, just make the whole thing negative. My slope would be -2/3.
You put 2 on your 7 over 4. Or your 7, 4.
No, please.
What?
What did I mess up on?
You
With
put
the X, you put 2.
Oh, I switched it. Good catch. Oh, I erased the whole thing. Undo. Eraser. X and Y is correct. This is backwards, right?
Wait, so it was wrong?
No, I meant the 4. Your X says 2.
You were doing it correct. It's just that you labeled the X.
Underneath the 4, it says X2.
On the bottom of the 4, it says
Oh, just my little label's wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand.
it's a Y.
Oh, I was like, wait,
It's
it's
Y.
still a 2.
It's by 1.
Please selling them now.
Thanks. Good job. Good catch.
Okay.
So my slope is still correct. So I did the math right. I just did the label wrong.
Yes.
Excellent catch. Good job.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Let's see if they got the same equation that we did. Oh, look at that. They did.
Wahoo.
Shocked. All right. Any questions on how you're doing this today? All right. So you got to do through number 12, and that is it. Today's Wednesday. All right.